don't know if he's in his prime. He's fat. He should be lean and mean. He's fat and funky. It's hard to even really be. He's not going to win. He couldn't even knock out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is 40 pounds. How's he going to knock me out?
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson have come face-to-face in a heated exchange, and it appears that things are getting intense between the two. As Tyson relentlessly trains for his upcoming heavyweight bout, his progress is evident in every new training video. Each clip reveals an increasingly formidable version of the former world champion. The power and intensity of his punches in the latest footage have sparked concern beyond just Jake Paul's camp. Fans are also worried about the safety of his trainer. In recent months, Tyson has introduced the boxing community to the structure of his powerful training videos. They showcase his strengths with tightly edited, brief power spurts. Rafael Cordero, Tyson's coach, finds himself on the receiving end of these viral beatings, enduring the full brunt of Tyson's punches. It's the last blow in the latest video that really shakes Cordero, prompting some fans to express worry about his well-being. One fan said, "Coach, are you okay? Mike Tyson doesn't miss a beat. Lightning speed. You all are an amazing team." Another added, "Good luck to his opponent. I hope he's ready because Tyson is a killer when the time comes. This feels like a man who had to go back to who he really is, and all I can say is watch out, Jake. It might be lights out fast. If he can survive the first round, he might have a chance as Mike is in his late 50s, but I doubt it will last. Tyson will be on a mission." Hailing from Brazil, Rafael Cordero's roots are deeply embedded in the world of mixed martial arts. Renowned for sculpting UFC titans, like Anderson Silva and Mauricio Rua, he clinched the coveted MMA Coach of the Year accolades in both 2012 and 2016. Additionally, Cordero boasts a remarkable legacy as a thrice-crowned Brazilian Muay Thai champion, showcasing his prowess both in and out of the ring. As he integrates his mixed martial arts insights into Tyson's training regimen, it's evident he's unaccustomed to enduring blows of the magnitude delivered by Iron Mike. Meanwhile, reacting to skeptics of this impending spectacle, another boxing luminary, Tyson Fury, shared his perspective. Fury is doubtful of those who criticize the fight, arguing that it should be an overall enjoyable experience for everyone involved. Talking about people criticizing the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, Tyson Fury mentioned that it was only the jealous fighters, particularly those who weren't earning money or enjoying personal success, who were critical of this event. He pointed out that these negative individuals, who had nothing to gain from the fight, were the ones expressing their jealousy. However, Fury expressed his own positive view, stating that he thought it was a fantastic fight that would generate a lot of money.
Only jealous fighters.
What's that?
Only fighters who are not paid and not getting laid. They're the fighters who are jealous. People, negative people who are not making any money and are not set to gain anything from this fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I think it's fantastic. I think this creating a lot of money. One for Texas, selling out all them tickets, and that means drinks, alcohol, food and beverage, everything for the local area. Big influx in dollars being spent in the local area.
Fury highlighted the immense economic boon the marquee event would bring to Arlington, Texas, projecting significant revenue from ticket sales, food, and beverage purchases, along with substantial influencer spending in the local area. Additionally, the British boxing icon acknowledged the advantageous impact the fight would have on both Mike Tyson's and Jake Paul's camps. Moreover, Fury added that both Mike Tyson's team and Jake Paul's team were benefiting from the fight, with many people being supported financially and rents being paid. He expressed confusion over the negativity surrounding the event, stating that he was thrilled about it and looking forward to seeing the legendary Mike Tyson back in the ring in his era, which he found fantastic.
And then you got, obviously, all of Mike's teams are being fed, and all of Jake's teams being fed out of it. So there's a lot of mouths being fed, a lot of people's rents are being paid. So I don't know what's to be negative about it. I'm over the moon for it. Looking forward to it.
You'll be watching.
I get to see the legend in Mike Tyson back in the ring in my era. Fantastic. I already saw one of him against Roy Jones. It was fantastic. So I get to see him again live and exclusive as an adult. What a treat.
Tyson Fury makes a valid point. The fight between Paul and Tyson has a lot of potential benefits, but there are also certain hazards to be aware of. The focal point of discussion revolving around the Paul Tyson bout centers on the staggering 30-year age contrast. At 27, Paul stands considerably younger than his counterpart Tyson, who clocks in at 57. This glaring age gap has stirred curiosity among fans and analysts alike, questioning the fairness of the match. Furthermore, pundits caution Tyson to tread carefully, considering the potential peril his age and inherent vulnerabilities pose. Dr. Stephen Hughes, a seasoned lecturer in medicine Tyson at Anglia Ruskin University, shed light on the looming risks of brain damage confronting Tyson. He elucidated that the formidable forces Tyson might encounter could precipitate the rupture of cerebral blood vessels. This latent concern would be further compounded by the advanced age of the boxing league's participants and their past struggles with alcoholism. Hughes explained, keeping fit protects against cardiovascular disease, and Tyson's exercise regime will benefit him greatly. However, the temptation to overdo it in the gym is always there. Extreme exercise can lead to cardiac fibrosis, scarring of the heart muscles, which over time may lead to heart failure or sometimes sudden passing. Worries over Tyson sustaining an injury are valid, yet he defies the norm for a 57-year-old. Tyson stands as a titan in boxing history, boasting unparalleled success and expertise. With an impressive record of 50 wins and 6 losses, the former undisputed heavyweight world champion undoubtedly approaches every match with meticulous preparation. Jake Paul, boasting a formidable 9-1 record, approaches this match with utmost seriousness. His transition from social media luminary to a contender in the ring is a captivating narrative, earning recognition even from the likes of Tyson Fury for his remarkable evolution. Fury further remarked that Jake Paul and his brother Logan had done fantastically well for themselves, acknowledging their accomplishments despite his rivalry with them due to Tommy Fury. He noted that he had to be honest about his perspective, praising Jake and Logan for their journey from being young kids to becoming multi-millionaires, YouTubers, wrestlers, and boxers.
And then you got like Jake Paul, him and his brother have done fantastic. You know, I know we've got a rivalry going on with Tommy and that, but I got to speak how I see it. Jake and Logan have done absolutely fantastic for themselves, from becoming like young kids to be multi-millionaires and YouTubers and wrestlers and boxers and everything else and entertaining. So I know they've got a lot of haters and stuff. However, I'm not one of them. I'm a fan and I support it. I support people going in and making lots of millions of dollars out of boxing.
Renowned UFC trainer Tim Welch argues that spectators are dumb for counting out legendary Mike Tyson ahead of his fight with Jake Paul. Analyzing the impending boxing bout on his YouTube platform, Tim Welch contended that overlooking Mike Tyson's potential to astonish the world would be nothing short of foolishness, despite his age of 57 and a hiatus from fighting since 2020. He said, "Do I think that Mike Tyson has a chance? Absolutely. It's Mike Tyson. He's the true freak of nature, and the rule set favors him. Notably, the battle will take place over 8 two-minute rounds, using 14-ounce gloves and no headgear. The winner will have their professional records affected." Welch added that Tyson is an incredibly intimidating individual, one of the scariest people one could ever encounter. He acknowledged that Tyson might not be as ferocious as he once was, but emphasized that it was still Mike Tyson, implying that underestimating him would be foolish. Welch added, "Mike Tyson is a scary human being, one of the scariest human beings that you'll ever see. I don't think he's going to be the same ferocious dog that he used to be, obviously, but it is still Mike Tyson. To say he doesn't have a chance, you gotta be dumb, but the chances are not that high just because of the age." Welch, who corners UFC bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley, said Tyson will be most lethal in the first few rounds of the fight, but he worries about how soon his knockout power will fade. He explained, "I think early on he's going to be scary. He's going to come out there and be able to throw some power, but I bet you he can't train that hard, especially if he's not able to use that special sauce." Moreover, Welch noted that Tyson had mentioned at the press conference how sore he was and expressed a wish that he was joking about it. In contrast, Welch pointed out that Jake Paul was in the prime of his life. Welch added, "Even at 57 years old, your testosterone cannot be that high, especially the lifestyle Tyson has had. He's got to be beat down." He spoke at the press conference about how sore he is, and he wishes he was joking, whereas Jake Paul is in the prime of his life. Moreover, Welch thinks that neither fighter will win by highlight reel knockout, even though Jake Paul still has the physical advantages in this fight. Welch speculated that Jake probably wanted to put on some size, particularly around his neck, to better withstand Mike Tyson's power. He said, "Rumor is Jake Paul's walking around at 230. He's a big kid. He's probably wanted to put on a little bit of size on his neck so he can take Mike Tyson's power. I know all the old school guys are going to be like, are you kidding me? Mike Tyson's going to kill Jake Paul, but it's like, dude, we're creeping up on 60 years old." However, Welch believes that the social media celebrity will prevail on points in the end because he doesn't think Jake Paul can defeat the great boxing champion. Welch said he believed that Jake Paul would be able to stay composed, use his reach, and maintain enough speed and endurance to win by decision. He doubted that Jake would knock Tyson out. Welch said, "I think Jake Paul's going to stay tight enough and be long enough and be quick enough and be able to pace himself to get the job done by decision. I don't think Jake's going to knock him out. His head's too big, his neck's too big. I mean, I don't want to say never, but I think Jake Paul Paul is going to win a decision. Nearly 8 out of every 10 individuals within the fighting community express a palpable disdain towards the impending clash between Tyson and Paul. Adding to the chorus of disapproval, UFC lightweight contender Renato Moicano has taken aim at Netflix for their promotion of the bout, highlighting the significant 30-year age chasm between the two fighters. After winning the UFC Fight Pass Invitational 7, Moicano angrily criticized Netflix during the post-fight news conference and denounced the gimmick event. He said, "I think that's crazy, making no sense, but shame on Netflix to promote that. They don't have morals." The Brazilian was asked by a journalist if he was prepared for the kind of million-dollar boxing match that was going to take place. Moicano expressed strong criticism towards boxing, deeming it dull. While opinions on this matter may vary, the MMA fighter's assessment of Tyson versus Paul was astute, condemning Netflix's greed in the process. Now, if there was a script for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul promotion, it was flipped on Thursday. At last, the fighters removed their gloves, metaphorically that is, and began trading jabs rather than grins. 3 days following a lively confrontation hinting at suspicions of a staged bout, the atmosphere shifted markedly, fraught with tension and disagreement, as Tyson and Paul took the stage for a press briefing in Arlington, Texas. In contrast to the vibrant atmosphere of New York, where the kickoff press conference took place on Monday, the audience played a defining role as they greeted Paul with a chorus of boos and erupted into explicit chants directed at him.
Put your hands together! The ultimate disruptor, the problem child, Jake El Gallo Paul!
At a press conference to promote the heavyweight match, Paul and Tyson both joined in on the chant. Encouraged by MC Brian Custer, the boxers addressed rumors that their heavyweight boxing battle is being fixed. Talking about these critics, Paul remarked that it was evident they didn't have a high IQ, adding that it was a federal crime.
And for those, Jake, who say it's scripted, what do you say to them?
Well, clearly they don't have a high IQ in here, but that's a federal crime, Brian.
Tyson found himself confronted with inquiries regarding rumors swirling around the script, supposedly dictating his defeat to Paul, who was stepping into his second professional bout during Tyson's exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. in 2020. Tyson said that people should come to the fight to see what happens, adding that he started Jake off and he was going to finish him.
What do you say? Tell these people who keep saying that this fight is scripted for Jake Paul to win.
Well, just come to the fight and you'll see. Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him.
The crowd cheered, and Paul seized the moment. Paul said that he hoped everyone would keep the same energy when he knocked the old man out. He emphasized that he was confident in his abilities and looked forward to proving himself in the ring.
Hey, yeah, come on, Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. I like, yeah. Hey, I hope y'all keep that same energy when I knock this old man the f*** out.
Tyson's vexation was palpable as he found himself increasingly irked by Paul's antics, prompting him to abruptly depart during the ceremonial face-off at the conclusion of the press conference. There were no traces of smiles or laughter this time around, as tension filled the air. Jake Paul's weight was the subject of one fight between the fighters. Paul claimed he looks much larger and has put on weight in preparation for the battle, or as Tyson said, that he's fat.
I don't know if he's in his prime, he's fat. He should be lean and mean. He's fat and funky. I saw him with his shirt off the other day. He's fat. I thought, did you start training already?
However, Paul quickly said that Buster Douglas was fat, referring to the boxer who in 1990 knocked out Tyson in one of the biggest upsets in sports history and handed Tyson the first loss of his career.
Hey, Buster Douglas was fat, am I right?
Tyson then replied to Paul, acknowledging that Paul was confident, but he remarked that Paul was no Buster Douglas. But Jake Paul responded assertively, stating that he believed he was better and that he would finish Tyson even quicker than Douglas had. He assured Tyson that this would be a memorable moment for him. Expressing gratitude, Jake Paul acknowledged Tyson for giving him a start in his career and expressed his affection for him, comparing it to a father-son relationship. Despite this, he made it clear that he intended to defeat Tyson, and Tyson responded with a simple, "I love you too."
I know, but you're no Buster Douglas.
I'm better. I'm better.
No,
and I'm gonna end you quicker than he did. And you'll remember that forever. You started me off. I appreciate that, Mike. I love you. I love you. like a father loves his son, but I must discipline you. You're going down, old man.
Okay, I love you too.
Mike Tyson then commented on Jake Paul's boxing career, particularly focusing on Paul's knockout record and opponents. He pointed out that Jake has not scored knockout wins against notable fighters like Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, and Tommy Fury. Referring to Nate Diaz, Tyson noted that he can't even knock out Nate Diaz while he was 40 pounds only, so how's he going to knock Tyson out? This remark highlights Tyson's skepticism about Jake Paul's ability to knock out a larger opponent like himself. But this is not it. Tyson also brought up Anderson Silva, the UFC legend whom Jake Paul defeated, via unanimous decision in 2022. Tyson questioned Paul's failure to knock out smaller opponents raises doubts about his knockout power against bigger challengers. Additionally, Tyson mentioned Tommy Fury, who defeated Paul by split decision in 2023. Mike Tyson pointed out that Jake never rocked out a real man, suggesting that his inability to knock out Fury, a professional boxer, raises doubts about his ability to face more seasoned opponents like himself. Mike Tyson's comments underscore a broader skepticism within the boxing community about Jake Paul's abilities and the quality of his opponents. While Paul has achieved 6 knockout wins, in his boxing career, Tyson's remarks indicate that some in the boxing world question the legitimacy of these victories against less experienced or smaller opponents.
It's hard to even really be, he's not gonna win. He couldn't even knock out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is 40 pounds. How he gonna knock me out? What's the other guy? Anderson Silva. He didn't knock those little guys. How you gonna knock me out?
Jake, majority of your fights, we've certainly seen the power on display.
Who did he knock out? Who did he knock out? Little children. He didn't knock out, never knocked out a real man. Come on.
He's questioning your power, Jake. He's saying you haven't knocked out a legitimate fighter of his ilk.
He didn't knock out Tommy Fury.
In response to Mike Tyson's comments, questioning his knockout power and the quality of his opponents, Jake Paul fired back confidently. He acknowledged Tyson's remarks, admitting that Mike is right and he can't stand there and say he did those things. However, Paul promised to deliver a definitive outcome when they face off on July 20th. Paul declared that Mike will be put to sleep and he will feel his power, and Paul will go down as the man who put Mike Tyson to sleep for the last time. In making this bold statement, Jake Paul not only aimed to counter Tyson's criticism, but also set high expectations for his upcoming fight against the boxing legend. His confident assertion suggests a strong belief in his abilities and a determination to leave a lasting mark on the sport by defeating a revered figure like Mike Tyson decisively.
Hey, look, he's right. I can't stand here and say I did those things, but what I promised to the people is on July 20th, Mike will be put to sleep and he will feel my power, and I will go down as the man who put Tyson to sleep for the last time.
Later in the press conference, when asked about his motivation, Jake Paul casually mentioned that he stays motivated by drinking Celsius. Meanwhile, Tyson dismissed the question bluntly, stating that he couldn't answer such stupid questions and that he was ready to fight.
What do you keep in mind that keeps you on the right path when you're getting in training, getting ready to go, and getting ready to win for each of you?
Katie?
I can't answer these questions, man. Come on, man. Only thing I know is I'm ready to fight. I don't really care.
Jake Paul?
Drinking Celsius.
Love it.
When questioned about the fight against Jake Paul, Tyson commented that it was good while it lasted for Jake and referred to Jake as fat. In response, Paul remained confident and assured Tyson that he would be seeing a lot of pictures of it.
I don't know. Picture me losing to him.
You're gonna have a lot of pictures of it, Mike.
If Tyson thought Jake Paul could ever win a boxing world championship, that question was posed to him. While acknowledging Paul's improvement, he confidently stated that he's improved a lot, but he's not going to beat him. Moreover, Tyson nonchalantly said that he was born to do this, and this is nothing new to him.
Will he be a world champion boxer someday?
Let me just be honest, he's improved a lot. Yes, he did improve a lot, but he's not going to have a good night when he fights me on July 20th.
What did his ribs feel like when you touched them on Monday during the face-off?
They felt pretty hard.
Make up your mind, were they hard or am I fat?
Well, you're fat, but you had hard muscles, okay? But outside your muscles, you're fat.
Lay off the weed.
When questioned about his age and whether he was too old to fight, Mike Tyson dismissively replied that who is saying that? He claimed that he has never heard anyone saying something like this. The reporter chose not to respond, leaving Tyson's challenge hanging in the air.
How do you respond to people who are critical about this fight taking place in the first place at all because of your differences, particularly your age?
Well, I don't see too many people critical about it. Look at this. Ha 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 ha.
Critics, I mean.
Excuse me?
Critics, you know, people in the
Who?
industry.
Tell me who. Name it somebody.
Folks.
You? Who?
No, folks who say it. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
The fighters showed their preparation and resolve without a doubt as the meeting came to an end. In response to a question about which round he intends to finish Jake Paul, Tyson announced with confidence that he will end Jake in the first round with the first punch.
I think everybody wants to know what round you're going to knock out Jake Paul in.
As soon as he get hit, the first punch.
During the same press conference, Mike Tyson startled a reporter. A journalist attempted to confront him about what he saw as his apparent contradictions between words and actions, which led to Jake Paul adeptly sidestepping the inquiry and inadvertently provoking a fiery response from Tyson. The reporter questioned when Jake Paul would actually fight a contender in his weight class instead of doing gimmick fights. Paul responded, suggesting that the reporter had just called Mike Tyson a gimmick.
My question's for Jake. Jake, you say you want to be a serious boxer and you want to be a contender and be a title holder. So then when in your career are you going to actually fight a contender in your weight class and not do gimmick fights?
I think he just called Mike Tyson a gimmick.
The reporter tried to clarify his words, expressing respect for Mike Tyson and acknowledging his age. He mentioned that Tyson is 58 years old, or will be at the time of the fight. Tyson didn't take it well, repeatedly asking the reporter what he had just called him. The reporter denied calling Tyson anything, his voice showing panic. Tyson's intimidating glare swiftly diffuses the tension, setting the stage for their upcoming match, where such confrontations are likely to re-emerge before they face off in the ring.
Mike Tyson's 58 years old, or will be at the time of the fight, yes.
So
as
will
much
you
as I
fight him?
respect Mike Tyson
Will you
and
fight
his...
him?
What did you just call me again?
I didn't call you anything.
What did you call me?
I didn't call you anything.
It's been 4 years in this sport, and I've done more to it than any boxer in the history of the sport. So in due time, sir, I will be fighting for a world championship, and I will be shutting you the and making you eat your own words.
Moreover, it appears that Mike Tyson turned his back on Jake Paul as he used a gunshot gesture during this recent face-off. Paul made the decision to try to get in the face of his opponent by assuming that he was prepared to punch Tyson when he was taken to the front of the stage for a face-off. The heavyweight superstar first stood there totally unaffected, then raised his hands in response, seemingly indicating he didn't want to participate in the fun. Tyson then turned his back on Paul, at which point the problem child gestured towards his puzzled opponent with a gun. The uncontested world champion, who had a successful 20-year professional career from 1985 to 2005, had witnessed it all at press conferences. During the stare-down, he maintained his professional demeanor and showed no signs of being scared by the YouTuber. But as they met to promote the bout, he was obviously more willing to trade verbal jabs with Paul than he had been earlier in the week.
The ultimate disruptor, taking on the baddest man on the planet.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.